Let's read How Much is a Million? There's Marvelissimo, the mathematical magician. See him? He's going to tell us. How much is a million? If 1 million kids climbed onto one another's shoulders, they would be taller than the tallest buildings, higher than the highest mountains, and farther up than airplanes can fly. If you wanted to count from 1 to 1 million, it would take you about 23 days. If a goldfish bowl were big enough for 1 million goldfish, it would be large enough to hold a whale. Presto, 100 stars. If this book had 1 million tiny stars, see, here's the 100 stars. If this book had 1 million tiny stars, they would fill 70 pages. Climb aboard. See all those little stars on that page? But it would fill 70 pages if there were 1 million of them. Oh, there we go. All those little tiny stars. There you have 100,000 stars. If we took this 7-page journey 10 times, we'd see 1 million stars. Let's do that later. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. How big is 1 billion? If 1 billion kids made a human tower, this sign says, time out for refreshments. See, and they're eating watermelon and apples and pie and all kinds of stuff. Okay, but if 1 billion kids made a human tower, they would stand up past the moon. If you sat down to count from 1 to 1 billion, you would be counting for 95 years. If you found a goldfish bowl large enough to hold 1 billion goldfish, it would be as big as a stadium. If this book had 1 billion tiny stars, its pages spread side by side would stretch almost 10 miles. See, look, here's the pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, all laid out. And it would stretch almost 10 miles if you had all the pages edge to edge for 1 billion tiny stars. How tremendous is 1 trillion? If 1 trillion kids stood on top of each other, they would reach way, way, way beyond the moon. Oops. Beyond Mars and Jupiter, too, and almost as far as Saturn's rings. Wow, 1 trillion kids. If you wanted to count from 1 to 1 trillion, it would take you almost 20,000 years. If you put 1 trillion goldfish in a goldfish bowl, the bowl would have to be as big as a city harbor. If you put 1 trillion of our stars onto a gigantic roll of paper, it would stretch all the way from New York to New Zealand. And that's that story. And here it explains a little about how they came to those numbers. So if you wanted to know more on that, you could look that up. But that was a story called How Much is a Million? with some more Stephen Kellogg pictures. Hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe.